Okay, Buck, tell me everything we need to know heading into game 7, starting with strategy. Like you said, you think Glasnow's going out? Yeah, I think they kept his pitches to a minimum that he can be a big factor. I think we should start with Shohei Ohtani, though. I mean, this is the most unique player we've seen in our generation. And how are you going to use him in game 7? They said he wasn't available for game 6, but he's available for game 7.
Well, we think he is. You never, dealing with the players from different cultures and different backgrounds, and Dave and them know these guys. You've been with them too long, so you know what their buttons are, and there's not a whole lot of surprises this time of year. But I suspect he'll be ready. It'll be interesting to see if they're going to sit down tonight after the smoke clears, and they're going to talk about what they can and because talking to players right now after the game with that much juice flying around is probably not a good idea. It's more about presenting scenarios and then approaching the players, because you do need to let them know how you're going to use them. But immediately after the game is not a good time to talk about, because they're all going to have this bravado going on, and then they wake up tomorrow. And I tell you, the first thing that hits me, Eric, is playoff shares. Going 7 games, a little bit better playoff shares for everybody.
Yeah, well, I mean, we actually talked about that. The first 4 games go to the players. The last 3 go to the teams. The teams are like, so maybe whoever wins gets a nicer ring. But my question to you, Buck, Shohei, do you just go like this? Do you just give him the ball? And he says, I got you, Skip. And you let him run?
What if you go start to hand it to him? He goes, I don't think so. Maybe later in the game. You got to be careful about pushing him into something he doesn't want to do. I'd be surprised if that's not the case. I'd be surprised. It may be Glasnow with him picking him up. Who knows? Glasnow basically had a work day today, because I know he didn't have a work day at any point today. So that outing, the problem is they don't have a day off. But a lot of guys, 2 days before they pitch, have a work day. So, I think their choices are Glasnow or Ohtani, but both of them are going to pitch in that game tomorrow.
The rule that Major League Baseball has out there, there's no way, in my opinion, there's no way they don't start Shohei. Because if they go Glasnow, clearly they're fine with Glasnow coming in out of the pen, his long 3-pitch outing that he had tonight. But to me, like, you start Shohei, and then you go everybody else. You might say, I get 3 from Shohei, I get 3 outs from Shohei, whatever it is. But I don't see them trying to manipulate moving him the right field after he comes in to relieve. But this is the drama that we want Shohei pitching in game 7. We're going to get it. I'm no doubt we're going to get it.
I've got one other question to ask you. Would you be a little concerned if you were Dave Roberts about your so-called closer tonight? I know that you pushed the envelope on him with the second inning. Do you feel any differently about him struggling somewhat tonight? About him pitching at the end of the game tomorrow?
My issue, and I know the team doesn't strike out much, my issue with it is he had a full inning pitch, so it was an inning plus. So inning plus 2 hitters. So he faced 5, 6, 7 hitters and 0 strikeouts.
What do you throw, about 30 pitches? Somewhere around there?
I'm not as concerned about the pitches. I'm concerned about the fact that splitter thing was not fooling him. Because it's not a splitter. It's a forkball. Let's just be honest. It doesn't spin enough. It's almost a knuckleball. It spins so little. But you have to go to him. Dave Roberts doesn't have anything else. Dave Roberts can't get through tomorrow's game with Shohei, Glasnow, Kershaw for 1 out. Like, where's he going to get his outs is my question. Because that's on the manager. I'm just the player. You're the manager, Buck.
Yeah, and I don't know their players, but I agree with you. I think you're going to see – let's see what we can get out of Ohtani. Let's see how far we can take it. Unless there's something in the conversation in there that sets it up differently. They know their players, and they know, what's being said. I try to give them that respect, but it looks like that on paper. I agree with you. I think Toronto's the one that, you got Bieber there, you got Bassett will come back, and you got Scherzer. Don't ever underestimate. I had a number of people tell me before one of the games, and I said, do not sell Scherzer short. I'd like to know what his sleep, those things you wear on your hand that tells you how much sleep you got the night before. I wonder what Scherzer's is going to look like tonight.
It's going to
Not
look
much.
like this.
The thing's going to break. What are you talking about? That thing broke. If you try and put anything on him, it will break. He probably will chuck it against the wall. He's so excited.
Without giving up too much information, I know Max too well. He's got a complete ritual the night before he pitches that he does getting his sleep. I tell you, you want to catch the wrath, somehow get to his room and disrupt his routine of sleeping the night before a game. He's got it down to a science.
Oh, I'm sure. And he's been doing it for a while. Okay. So in a perfect world, if the Dodgers win, Dave Roberts is like, cool, I get 3 or 4 out of Shohei. I get 4 or 5 out of Glass now. That's it. Maybe I needed Roki for 1 at the buzzer. And on the Toronto side, what's the perfect world? Is it Max then handing the ball to Bieber, then handing the ball to Bassett and maybe Hoffman if you need?
Yep, I agree with you. That's about the way I see it. How do you see it, Erik?
I actually might flip it. I don't know that Max, obviously the conversation, these are conversations that are happening throughout the playoffs and the season. I might go Bieber. I might go Bieber fever, start it out, and then Max.
Well, that means Bieber's going to start on short rest and Max is coming off normal rest, right?
Yep. Because I'm thinking I'm getting more out of Max, and I'm okay getting more out of my second guy in than my first guy, because my first guy runs into anything. Now I have a short guy behind him, and I have more length in Max. And Max has an opportunity to get in the flow of the game.
I think you got to ask yourself who would handle relieving better, because it's a whole different cat for guys like Max and Bieber and Bassett, who have always been starters for the most part. Bassett's had some experience with it now, but Max Max pitching's pitching to Max. Whether you tell me what inning I'm pitching, let's go. But there's a tough conversation. If you want to go tell Max that somebody else is starting, good luck. Good luck.
And John Schneider doesn't want that smoke. He's already talked about it. That's why I said what I said. I said Ohtani to Glass now. I said Scherzer to Bieber, and then we talk about Bassett. And of course, my favorite, I was going to save this for the end, but every day Louis Varland will figure out a way to get in the game and set the record for usage in a postseason. I think he just tied it at 14, and 15 would set the record. What about lineup changes though, Buck? What do you think of the way that the Dodgers have tried to mix and match? So does Mookie stay in the 4 slot? Does Miguel Rojas get another start? And then after that, let me know what you saw from George Springer, who I'm assuming is good to go. I mean, he had some big knocks for them.
Well, he had one he hit well. The other one I thought was a beautiful thing that tells you all you need to know about Springer. Just put the ball in play, get the barrel to it, and wow, look what happened. I hit it down the first baseline. I love that at bat. That was one of my favorite bats of the whole night. But, I don't think you're going to see much change with the Dodgers. I just want to say again that starting Rojas tonight, I know that wasn't in the analytical sheet that you get, and I think the real interesting thing tomorrow is to see whether he starts again tomorrow. I think he will. What do you think, Erik?
Yes, I don't think they change a thing. But you can't have this team bouncing in the clubhouse. They're going to get to the field tomorrow at like 11 o'clock. If they show up and the lineup says, great job last night, guys, we're going to go back to what we had because Tommy Edmonds' ankle feels better at second base. Sorry, Tommy. We're going to need to get you your ankle the same thing that Freddie Freeman had last year for the playoffs. Like, we need you back out there. And Miggy Rowe, I appreciate you. We're going to hoist another trophy.
I tell you, an interesting thing to watch for tomorrow is Springer, because I would be surprised if he's not real sore tomorrow. When you've had some time off, and he's been taking some dry swings and some BP and a little bit of hitting there, but it's nothing like the the level game speed. I'd be surprised if he's not sore tomorrow. Do I expect him to play? Yes. But do I expect him to be uncomfortable? Yeah, I do.
A couple notes from Dave Roberts here at the finish line. He said rolling with the same lineup, not announcing the starter yet because he wants to see where Shohei is more comfortable. My only question on that one is how can he pitch in the middle of the game here, Kratz?
They just don't want to give it up. They just don't want to give it. They don't want any. I'm not letting the other team know the night before they go to bed because I'm taking my computer and I'm watching. I know this guy, but I'm watching every video. I'm watching every tendency because I'm not going to be able to fall asleep. So if you're the Blue Jays, to me, I'm selling all out to the fact that Shohei's starting. I don't see how they circumvent the rule. The only question I would have, and this would be a 99.9% sure of what I just said. The only question I have is I questioned that ball by Will Smith when Shohei was on first. Shohei's speed is elite. I'm wondering if his legs are not completely back because he did not score on that ball down the left field line. And I thought that was a sure 100% 2-0 game at that point. Because
that's a good point. That's a good catch,
and they never showed him because Shohei walks on water for the telecast. But to me, that ball rattled around in left field, not for me to score from first. Shohei's walking in there, and he did not. And I'm wondering if his legs aren't recuperating because think about what he did. He took a cross-country flight. He pitched. He was on base in the 18-inning game 9 times, and then they took another cross-country flight. The only reason you don't recover is because inflammation is stuck somewhere where you don't want it. And I'm not saying it's his arm. I'm saying when you don't run at your top speed like Shohei can, I wonder. I really wonder.
Yeah, that's why that's another reason why they're not completely committing. Let me tell you guys another MVP this time of the year that's behind the scenes. I want you to think through. The Dodgers came to the ballpark tonight, not thinking about it, but realizing their season could be over. Okay, let's talk the traveling secretary. First of all, the hotel. You've got to figure out a way that, hey, you basically say, we're staying here tonight, win, lose, or draw. That was last night. So they're going back to the hotel, and if they had lost, they would leave the next day. Now you got to make sure that hotel is kept for tonight. And if I was them, I would spend the night there probably tomorrow night because by the time you get done with that game, win, lose, or draw, and you got families with you, the ability to be able to think on your feet and maneuver quickly you've got probably 100 people traveling with them right now, maybe on 2 different planes. And the ability to keep that and maneuver around is when traveling secretaries really earn their money. And that's what I'm thinking about this time of night is you're sitting there and Dave Roberts not only is making decisions about pitchers, but they're all making decisions about the movement of the team. But they'll worry about that.
It takes a village. The players have no idea what they have to worry about. And Buck, this is not Garrett Cole putting Rafael Devers on first. This is how many planes the Dodgers have for the World Series. They have 4, Buck.
Come
4.
on.
For real.
And we're worried about $10,000 for a padded fence?
That doesn't let balls get wedged underneath it? No, this is how the Dodgers roll, and they're not traveling secretaries anymore, Buck. They're directors of travel. But I got to ask you, Buck, since you asked me all the questions, I have to ask you this question. Elimination game. Quick hook compared to lane where you have a pitcher pitching compared to what your eyes are seeing.
All the above. The quick hook is fine, but you're hooking him for who? I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of managers would have stayed with the closer there. But Dave Roberts said, okay, sometimes you got to change a little, in the giddy up. You just got to throw something different out there. And when they got the pop-up there to get the first out, you and I were all talking here, getting ready for the post game, and went, oh, that's when the first thought about the pad out there came up. But one pitch, you can change the karma of a game. So the quick hook is fine. Oh, well, we're not going to wait around very long. It's pretty easy to tell if a guy's got it sometimes. If there's a fight at the bat rack to get an at bat in, he's not. You don't really have to have some lane there. I think the lane stuff, you present your options and saying, okay, we can quick hook this guy, but do we have the people to cover the innings? But you've got so many guys pitching tomorrow that have had great outings, and you got to try to figure out, is this that night where they're not having that outing? And that's where a feel comes into it, and that's where the human heartbeat comes into play, and that's why both these managers are managing in Game 7.
Yeah, this is going to be nuts. I'm so pumped. Toronto, you deserve this. Blue Jays fans had not seen World Series baseball since 1993. Now you get it all. You get a Game 7 in Toronto for a chance to win a title. The entertainment factor is through the roof. And on the Dodgers side, fans are trying to see back-to-back champs for the first time in about a quarter century. The biggest weakness for the Dodgers, you could make the case between the offense lately. Okay, well, you can win a 3-1 game again. And the relievers, doesn't matter that much. You got good starters. Game 7, it gets nuts. It's called chaos for a reason. So this was good stuff, guys.
I got
Final
one more
thoughts?
question. Yeah,
Yep.
you get a 10:30 ring of your doorbell for a trick or treaters. Do you answer it or not in Dallas, Texas?
Oh, yeah. Do you have full-size candy bars, Buck?
Oh, we're down to the apple slices now.
Then you don't answer it, because that man, that young man or woman is going to – they're going to put toilet paper in your – at 10:30, the kids who are going to eat the apple slices, no, they're not out anymore. We need full-size candy bars or the lights have to be out, Buck.
Yeah, I think we got something else working, little munchies this time of night.
Exactly. I think there are other factors in play when trick-or-treaters are going past the deadline. And I think the deadline is, you guys tell me, I'm not a suburbia guy, but probably, 8, 9 o'clock?
I got a question for y'all. Give me one unsung hero tomorrow. Somebody that steps out and is a Game 7 hero that just blindsides you. Who's your pick to?
That depends who you think is going to win, right? Because that's the unsung hero is not going to be the guy on the losing team.
That's true. So maybe
I'm
that's
okay
hard.
with that. But then you need to have an answer
One
too.
from each team.
We can swing it around. Or okay,
one from each team, Buck. And I'll give you my one from each team.
Okay.
Kratz, you first.
Oh, me first?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Miguel Rojas. They've already set the stage for me. The Dodgers have a guy in there who can bunt, who can stay inside 100-mile-an-hour fastball from Louis Varland and move the runner. He's not going to win MVP. He's not it's not going to happen. And to me, the guy that could win an MVP, Alejandro Kirk. And I'm not saying he's coming out of nowhere, but if you look at what he's done recently, he looks a little bit tired here at the end of this series, and he hasn't gotten the big hits. To me, if the Blue Jays win, Alejandro Kirk puts the ball out of the ballpark.
So you got my guy with Rojas. You can bunt with him. You can squeeze with him. You can hit and run. He's going to play stellar defense. So I'm going along with you with Rojas. But Toronto's a tough call. I'm anxious to see how Kirk's wrist is after the hit by pitch.
Nothing hurts in Game 7. Nothing hurts, Buck. Not even that old hip of yours. Nothing hurts.
If it's broken, it is. But I love Kirk. I just love watching him play. I talked to the guy that signed him. They had gone in there to look at somebody else, and they kept seeing this guy and his bat to ball skills and everything. And when I first saw the guy in the big leagues, I remember talking in the advanced meeting. I said, guys, I don't know about him catching whatever, but I guarantee you this guy can hit. I guarantee you anybody that looks like he looks can hit. And he could. It's just when you see him, I love watching him play. And he can throw, and the pitchers believe in him. But you took my two guys, so we're in agreement there.
Okay, well, I'll give you two on the way out. Clement has been a pleasure to watch. I know he didn't get it done. He was part of the pop out, right? We had one of the pop outs there at the end, But come on. The dude's hitting 400 plus in the postseason. He's been incredible. This has been a coming out party for him. He's been good. He hasn't been talked about a lot the last couple of years, and he has taken his game to another level. He's one of those guys where you're looking towards the bottom of the lineup. I mean, Buck, you look at that at the 8 hole, and you're like, damn, this makes sense while we're playing this team right now. This makes sense. This guy is a pest. This guy hits towards the top of most lineups, and we're playing the Blue Jays, and we have to game plan against Clement and what he's done. To me, that stands out, and that's a guy that just consistently has been a pest. On the other side, I'll give you here. I'll get you a comment in there, and then I'll give you a guy on the other side.
That's a good call.
Yeah. Okay. And then on the other side, I'll take one who's either going to go like 0 for 4 or 2 for 4 with a huge dinger, Kike Hernandez. He's just been there, and he's a different player in the playoffs for years. So if the Dodgers end up winning 3-2 and there was a 2-run homer, I would not be surprised if it was Kike Hernandez. I would say Max Muncy in that kind of case too. But Max is a little bit more, of a bigger name regular season wise. Kike Hernandez is the definition of postseason performer. He's the guy who gets up in those big moments. It's just a different game for him when you get to October, and he's got so much experience at those times.